Okay, so today we're going to look at creating an echo amplifier out of two solid bits of hardwood and milled on the CNC router. So your final product will look something like this one here. Firstly, I'll open up a new Fusion Design tab and we want to create a sketch on a surface. So we're just going to click on Create New Sketch, and the surface we want to create the sketch on. If I use the shortcut on the keyboard R for rectangle and clicking on center point rectangle, we can drag out. And the piece of hardwood that we're going to use, or typically use, will be a piece of 140mm black butt. So we're going to type 140, and we want our design to be 250mm in length. So we're just going to do 140 by 250, and as you can see there, I get a sketch of that design. The next thing we want to do is extrude that sketch out. So we're going to hit E for extrude, select the profile and drag that up. A typical piece of black butt is 45mm thick, and we're going to combine two of them, so the total height of our extrude needs to be 90. Pressing OK. Next thing we're going to do is create a slot for our phone to sit in, and the slot for our phone is going to be on the top. So we're going to create another sketch, and we're going to create a sketch on the top of our box. We're going to use the rectangle tool again, and we can use the center line rectangle, center point rectangle, and holding it roughly where we want, we can sort of sketch out where our phone may sit. What we're going to do is dimension that. I know that my phone is 70mm. Yours might be a little bit different. 15mm wide on that bottom edge, 15, and tab, and 70mm wide on that top sketch. What that's going to do is put our phone in the center of our box. Okay, and you need to know the dimensions of your phone to make sure that you get this correct. Next thing I want to do is dimension that slot to the box itself. So I'm just going to hit D for dimension, and I want to make sure that this point and this edge of my box here is, let's make it 25mm in from the back end of the box. And we want to make this point, well, it already is centered because we did a centered rectangle, so we should be able to drag that out, and 35mm makes it in the center. So we can just press enter there. You'll notice now that our sketch that we've drawn goes black, which means that it's all constrained. Next thing we want to do is extrude this down halfway through our timber. So we're just going to hit E for extrude, select the sketch that we wish to extrude, and drop that down to a height of 45mm, which means it's cutting, negative 45mm, which means that it's cutting the entire way through our first piece of timber. Our next step will be to create an ellipse on the front surface of our box. So we're going to create another sketch. We can just click on sketch, hitting the front corner of our box. We can choose the drop down arrow and find the ellipse tool. And what we want to do is just find the center. If I get this X and triangle appear, I know that I'm in the center of my box. Dragging that out, I can choose how wide I want my ellipse to be, and then opening it up, I can get the shape that I desire for my front ellipse. Spinning around now to the back of my box, what I need to do is create or construct an offset plane, and what I'm going to do is select the plane that I wish to offset, which is the back of my box, and then how far I want that to offset to be. So in this case, it's going to be the back line of my phone, which was 25mm. So I'm just going to create, or it's probably even better if we stop a little bit short of where we made our phone slot. So I'm just going to make that 20mm, pressing OK, and you can see now I've got an offset plane that's inside the box. So the next thing I need to do is draw a sketch on that offset plane. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new sketch, which is going to be a circle sketch. and circle sketch. Make it a center point circle, and I'm going to click on the offset plane, which is going to give me this perspective here. And what I'm going to do is draw a center point circle where my phone or speaker hole would be. And I'm just going to make it 35 millimeters. Pressing OK. A little bit of guesswork here, I suppose, but we want to make sure that the circle is going to pick up where the center of my phone would be. If it looks like it needs to come across a little bit, what I'm going to do from this point here is dimension. So D for dimension. I'm going to click on the center of the rectangle circle and the edge of my box and bring that out. You can see here it's 40 millimeters. I think it needs to come across a little bit more. So I'm just going to make that 45 and press enter. And I think that circle now will pick up where my speaker is. I know my speaker is on the side edge of my phone. Maybe yours is in the middle and it's a little bit easier to do. To finish our eco amplifier, we just need to stop that sketch now and create a loft. Loft is a pretty cool tool. We're going to select the surface of the ellipse at the front, and we're going to select the midpoint of the circle at the back. We're going to make sure that this operation is uncut, and we're going to press OK. And what that's done now is it's created a loft that's gone through to the back of our box, and it's come out where my speaker is. And we can play around with some measurements and dimensions to make sure that that is a true measurement. We could play around and try to get that circle there at the back of the box where my speaker sits larger. But that's essentially how you will create a eco amplifier in Fusion.